sitting at the desk that for how long I practiced here. I was wondering that does the time really matter to be so close and being a family member like an extended family here. My duration in Hisar may not be very long, but the length of my relationship with you is unending. The amount of love and affection, care, guidance, mentorship I got from the Hisar Bar, I can candidly confess that that has been my biggest achievement in life. I vividly recollect on 20th April 1984, I appeared in the last paper of my law final exam. And when I reached home, Hisar from Rohtak, I was instructed that I should not waste any time and I should start going to courts. So on 21st April, awaiting my result, I came to district courts. And believe me and trust me, the first lesson which I was taught was that how should I learn the work of a clerk, because that was very important. So my first lessons of the profession, that how to fill up a talwana, was where I started my career. On 29th, eventually after the declaration of the result, I got my license on 29th July 1984. Most of you might be knowing that I started my career in the chamber of late Sri Akmaram Bansal, a very renowned civil lawyer at that time. And the art of drafting, I must say, that the first lessons I started learning in his office. So it so happened that in probably August or September, I was asked to argue a civil appeal from the respondent side. That appeal was only against an interlocutory order, and the appeal was before the learned then district judge. I was for the respondent, and from the appellant side, just imagine what a stalwart personality, the name at that time, Babu Mahavir Prasad Jain. I touched feet of Babuji as I used to do it. You know, so many, I think Hisar Bar as my elder, more than a family member, my guide, P.K. Salisa was pointing out some of the stalwarts of the bar who before and immediate after freedom who ordered this bar. But even at the time of 1984 when I joined the bar, I will recollect some names and I will try to share with you. But just imagine that civil appeal where Babuji was counsel for the appellant and I was asked to argue on behalf of the respondent. I do not know while travelling inside the court what I argued and what I forgot or I remembered, but somehow or other I argued that appeal. Came back, after a couple of days the judgment was pronounced. I knew the fate of the appeal, that appeal has to be dismissed because it was against an interlocutory order. There was hardly anything in the appeal. But the point was not the outcome of the appeal. The point was when the judgment was listed for pronouncement. Learned district judge, he called all the senior members of the bar in his chamber, in his courtroom. And some of the other he used very encouraging words. He said, इस लड़के को यहाँ पे काम मत करो, इसको हाई कोर्ट भेज दो. To be honest, for me it was not a very exciting statement as such, because I was determined and I had no dream beyond to practice, except to practice in Hisar. We had a small house at that time, the parents were here, and I thought that my now future career in terms of a professional is restricted to this district where I will be practicing. I had my own social circle also. As Baisa was pointing out, I have been associated with some organizations here, I've been working on certain platforms. So I thought that Hisar is my life and I could not have any dream to go beyond that. Especially when, as I have been sharing and it's now in public domain, that I didn't have anyone in my family or in relations in legal profession. But the words of the district judge were taken so seriously by the senior members of the bar that from that very day onwards, each one of them started prompting me that you should at the earliest shift to the High Court. And on a fine morning, the great man, my mentor, my always guiding father, late Pandit Devra Sandhir, he asked me to sit in my car, I am taking you to Chandigarh. So all the way I traveled with him, I didn't know anything. Babaji kept on consoling me on the way, as if a girl was getting married at a different place. And he kept on consoling me that nothing will happen, you will enjoy it. It will take some time to settle down in Chandigarh, and I will introduce you one of the best of the lawyers in civil side. And you are quite confident that you will be able to make a space for yourself. And that was the end of the story. I went there, probably I worked hard, the circumstances also favored me, and then I never looked back. But trust me, despite having gone to Chandigarh and started practicing there, and most of my practice was also in a line where I was not really getting briefs from the district courts. Most of the work was on the writ side, it was originating in the High Court itself. My continuous, constant connectivity with the Hisar remained intact. And I never felt that I have shifted to Chandigarh. I always felt, and as and when got an occasion, I used to come, chat with the members of the bar, used to meet. And even while visiting Chandigarh, the members of the bar have been constantly in touch with me, that a family relationship, that emotional bondage, that sentimental relationship that continued, and that always made me that integral part of a member of this bar. It's not only a proud moment for all of you. More than you, it's a proud moment for me that starting my career from the Hisar bar, I am able to reach this position. Every journey has its own story of struggle, story of memorable events, story of success, and sometimes despair. Each one of us has those moments in life. My advice to the young advocates of the bar is that Hisar Bar is known for historical contribution, not only in the freedom struggle or in the formation of the constitution, as Baisa pointed out that Thakurdas Bhagwat was one of the Constituent Assembly members, but in post-constitutional jurisprudential development, the Hisar Bar has immensely contributed. And I have seen the days when Babu Mahaprasad, Babu Atmaram Bansal, Pandit Devra Sandhir, Shamlal Sadana Sahab, Sethi Sahab, Pandit Jagat Singh, Baldev Singh, Nain Sahab, I mean, you see civil revenue side, all Anand Sahab on MSCT and insurance matter, Sukhdev Agarwal Sahab, JP Jain Sahab. I remember so many stalwarts who contributed on civil, criminal, revenue, you name any branch of service, even service jurisprudence I have seen that matters being argued. And even on during my time when I reflect Gopiram, Sajjan Singh, all of them having specialized different branches of the laws and practicing here. Of course, Sandhir Sahab always known for as an expert leading lawyer of the region, I used to see him as a young lawyer leading on trial in criminal trials, and so many other experts here. So the contribution of the Hisar Bar in development of jurisprudence, in development of civil, criminal, and all branches of law has been is something immeasurable, and that contribution is a very rich heritage for the young members of the bar to learn, to adapt, and to create a space for yourself. The other thing which you must have been, some of you might be following that wherever I go, I have been sharing my views on certain issues. That this is the high time for members of the bar to equip yourself with advanced technology. And technology is going to be the game changer for any, the future of the legal system, the justice delivery system. It's going to have a very long-lasting impact even on the legal profession also. Most of you will recollect those very horrible time of suddenly when we all were caught unaware of the pandemic of COVID-19. The entire world was virtually shut down, but not the Indian judiciary. And Indian judiciary continued to function only because well in time we had adopted the technology as a part of our routine. We had, you will recollect, by that time the hybrid virtual hearings were introduced, e-filings were there, e-notices were there, all pleadings could be filed through the e-methods, and so were the lawyers were permitted to argue, the judgments were also delivered, and everything we used technology to our fullest advantage and got well equipped. Of course, the financial assistance by the governments from time to time has also played a very crucial role for the Indian judicial system to adopt technology. But the fact remains that in terms of infusion of technology, the Indian justice delivery system is far ahead as compared to developed countries, and that is what a very proud moment for the Indian legal system. Therefore, wherever I go, and particularly in the district courts, I always impress upon my young friends in the bar that you need to be tech savvy. You need to understand that what's happening at the global level, and that you are not now confined to become a member of the district courts, bar associations, or the high court bar associations. You need to prepare yourself, and you need to rebuild yourself and acquire a bigger status of a global lawyer. Why I'm saying is only because the two types of litigation which is now emerging on the Indian legal map. One on civil side is the commercial litigation which is now emerging. India is developing well, India is growing well on the economic front, and when you grow up, you invite the foreign direct investment, you invite the other startups, the other entrepreneurs who comes and make a lot of investments. When they make investments, it leads to rise of commercial litigation. There will be, you will find arbitration becoming, and other alternate dispute resolution mechanism becoming a very popular and a very preferential mode of adjudication. And it is in that process, you must have heard that when I announced that mediation for nation, that momentum was created only for the purpose of providing an alternative mechanism which is cost effective, which is a win-win situation where the parties also feel happy and the dispute is also settled to their entire satisfaction. And I must say it with proud that the support by the Indian bar, whether any part of the country, for the mediation is remarkable, and I am so encouraged to carry on forward this movement only with the support of the bar association. So when you prepare globally for the commercial kind of litigation, you need to be well equipped with technology, because you are filing of a case in a different jurisdiction. Tomorrow you may be required to file a case, to defend a case, to argue a case beyond the territorial geographical jurisdictions of this country. So legal field, the legal profession is now going across the border, and you may be required to become tomorrow global lawyers, and therefore you need to well equipped from that point of view. The second thing on those who are expertise having the criminal side, and those who are ultimately, because I will just explain in a second the other aspect also, is look at the amount of cyber crime in these days and the nature of the cyber crime, which are really hampering and affecting our society and the citizenry as a whole. So this was kind of crimes were never heard when the senior members of the bar, Bhai Sahib Salir Sahib or other senior advocates, even like Naik Sahib, when he started practicing on criminal side, they might not have thought of this kind of crimes. But today, our system, our law and order machinery, our justice system is grappling with this kind of offences which were never heard, which were never thought of. So the cyber crime, and particularly you must have heard about the digital arrest, that has led to the siphoning of thousands of crores of rupees from the Indian innocent people to across the country by means of this digitalized extortion, as you call it, digital arrest or any other thing. So the new generation of lawyers on commercial side, on civil side, you will face a different kind of unique type of commercial litigation. On the criminal side, you are going to face another unique type of litigation of these cyber crimes. And that's why it becomes extremely important for each one of you to be well equipped that what's happening beyond the district courts, beyond the scope of the High Court, or even beyond the Indian Supreme Court. You need to be well equipped yourself with the globalized world in terms of arming yourself to fight with any kind of future challenges. And for that, I will say this is the high time for the young members of the bar that you concentrate more your time on the e-libraries, to concentrate on finding out, thanks to the net facilities nowadays that are available, that what's happening in different jurisdictions, how the global the judiciary is moving, what kind of viewpoints are being taken, and how a new type of jurisprudence is developing in and around the country. And I may tell you that the Indian justice delivery system, and that includes, when I'm talking about the Indian system, I'm talking about both bench and bar. We both sides are the global leaders at this stage. And that is only because this uniqueness of preparation, commitment, devotion, integrity, ethical value, which the Indian the bar and the Indian bench both are maintaining, is of great high standard. And because of the fact that India is also, from that angle, is a cost-effective a geographical jurisdiction available now to the who are now opting India as a preferred destination, say for example for international arbitrations, for other settlement of the disputes. Even the Indian courts are also now being preferred as the place or the seat of adjudication in the event of any dispute arises. So this is happening only because they find lot of incentives. What is that incentive? Is a well-prepared bar in India and a bench which is ready to address the issues. And therefore we have to maintain that